everyone, Alexa Dunn here, and today I want to go over 7 unrealistic writer goals, asterisk. They shouldn't be goals because it's unrealistic to have these because there's little you can do to concretely achieve them. It's okay to have them as dreams, but I'm here to caution you against setting any of these as flat out goals because it's just too likely that you're going to face disappointment. And when something is a goal, it indicates that there are steps you can take, plans you can make, and actions to make something happen. And thus, when you don't achieve a goal, we have a tendency to blame ourselves, and I don't want anyone to set these goals and then think that something's wrong with them when and if they can't achieve them. So just any of these I'm going over, remind yourself it's okay to have a dream, but a dream is not a goal. As always, these are just kind of based on practicalities of the publishing industry, the traditional publishing industry, and some of my experiences. And just generally, allotting these to the dream side instead of the goal side will help you feel more even keel, and the publishing industry is less likely to kind of stomp you under their boot and make you feel like garbage. So the first unrealistic writer goal is to write and publish 2 to 3 books a year. Starting out, especially as a debut, this is a very unrealistic writer goal because there's a ton of factors that kind of go into, well, how things shake out in your career. This one's actually kind of okay as a long-term goal, but you still kind of have to organically see how things go. So the reality is, typically when you're a debut, a publisher is going to buy 1 book from you, maybe a few in a deal, but 1 comes out at a time, and they're going to set it up as your debut for that category / genre / as an author. And publishing is really, really slow. It's a super long game, and you're gonna have to wait for your debut to come out. So let's say you are a YA debut. That YA is going to be the only YA you can certainly release that year. There's almost always a non-compete around the publication of a book that says you can't publish a book in the same category or genre within 6 months or a year, and or you might be locked into a contract with your publisher, so you're not going to be able to publish 1 YA in January and then another one in May and then another one in October. That's just not how traditional publishing works unless you end up on a really weird schedule. But what's also usually not possible as a debut, asterisk, is to say publish your YA debut in January and a middle grade in August and an adult in December. You would be so tired. Of course, we see some authors who manage these really fascinating multi-pronged careers. A really fantastic example of this is V.E. Schwab, who publishes adult, YA, and middle grade, sometimes in the same year. And there are authors who build in their career and they can have 5 books come out in a year. But the thing is, none of that happened right away. So this one is mostly like cautioning you to almost hold your horses, not to go barreling into your agent saying, okay, you signed me, we're gonna sell 5 books. That usually doesn't happen. Now, if you are a very, very fast writer and you know for sure you can write multiple 2, 3, 4 high quality books in multiple genres, it would behoove you to look for agents who have clients who have these kinds of multi-pronged careers. Some agents are better at kind of doing that with you, and it's about fit, whereas other agents are just not going to be the ones to be pushing you in that direction. So some of it is just finding the agent who can fit your career. Even so, you're probably gonna have to hold your horses for a few years, but you can work up to that goal. And so the second unrealistic writer goal is actually directly related to this. Number 2 is the goal of writing in multiple categories, 2 to 3 categories, to set yourself the goal of I'm gonna write YA, middle grade, and adult all at the same time, just because it often doesn't work out that way. Publishers really want you to focus on one category / genre at a time to really build that brand, and there's only so much time in your life to do so. Realistically, you need to write 2 to 3 books in a given category or genre to start to establish your footing in that genre. And the thing is, if you take off, readers are actually going to want more of that thing. So meaning it's not as easy as people think to become a best-selling YA author and then start writing a ton of adult fiction as well as middle grade. As I mentioned, this is a long game goal. Not every author is capable of it. Not every career really supports that kind of like workhorse being all over the place. So again, this one can either be a long-term goal or it's okay to have it as a dream and work your way up to it and also just test yourself. You might get into the publishing industry and see how deadlines really work, how much work goes into a book. You might see how your brand and your career is going and decide, oh, I thought I really wanted to write adult YA, but I'm happy to stay in YA right now. Or vice versa. You might go, I thought I was happy to do both, but my heart's actually an adult. I'm just going to switch to adult. Just keep yourself open to all the weird ways that your career can go. It's just super uncommon for authors to be able to publish in 2 or 3 genres or categories simultaneously all at the same time. At the least, it's a long game career goal. So the third unrealistic author expectation is a real fun one right now. I wrote this outline months ago. It is the unrealistic writer expectation that you're gonna get $500,000 for your book deal. You're gonna get 6 figures, tons of money, $1 million. Now that we've had publishing paid me, but the thing is, I know a ton of 6-figure advances that people weren't talking about, but now people are being a little more transparent about their advances, which is a fascinating thing. And you can see now, authors like me have been warning you for ages. There's not as much money in publishing as you think there is, and now you can really see it. You should never make it a specific goal to get X amount of money for your book because you just never know how it's going to go. Advances are based on a variety of factors, most of which are out of your control, and you just never know. There's also downsides to getting absolutely massive advances. That's for another video. I think I talked about it years ago, but I'm always happy to repeat that $1 million advance can ruin your career if you don't sell enough books. But so again, massive advance is a dream, and it's a great dream to have, not a goal, because you can't control it. Too many factors. Speaking of great dreams that are just super out of your control, the fourth unrealistic writer goal is being a bestseller. You just don't know how it's gonna go. And also, if you've been paying attention to publishing being on fire, you also know we're currently fighting with the New York Times, who swears up and down that the list is not curated, whereas we're all over here shouting, we know it's curated. There's a ton of factors that go into being a bestseller, particularly the New York Times bestseller list, the indie bestseller list, and USA Today, different story. But regardless, there's all this stuff that goes into it that is completely out of your control. If you make it a goal, it's honestly just too likely you're gonna miss it, and then you're going to feel like garbage. I, in fact, have friends, it was a goal, and now they feel like garbage. They had the numbers to list, but they didn't list, and it's not fair. That's why it's a dream, not a goal. But even aside from the designation of bestseller, very, very dangerous to have sales goals for yourself, to say, I won't feel worthy or good about myself or my career unless I sell 50,000 copies. Because again, those sorts of things are out of your control. It's about market and timing, marketing, the readership, price points, cover. There's a ton of stuff that just goes into the weird alchemy of how books go out into the world and how they're received, and some books blow up and some don't, and some deserve it and some don't. It really runs the gamut. So don't set literal bestseller status or just like selling a ton of books as a goal for your writing career. That way lies madness and disappointment. Dreams are good, goals are bad. Similarly, the fifth unrealistic writer goal is to win awards. Now, I won't say it's possible to write a certain kind of book to kind of put yourself in the running for awards, but the actual goal of being like, I want to win that award, whatever that award is, again, it can just lead to disappointment. There are a lot of factors out of your control. Again, timing is actually a huge one. If you release in a year with like a watershed book, that book's gonna get all the awards and you're not. You'll be lucky to be nominated, and I mean, it is an honor to be nominated, but that's the thing. The way awards and that kind of recognition works in publishing, it's mysterious and not super fair. And so if you hang all of your writer validation, goals are partly about validation, on being an award recognized winning author, you're just likely to be disappointed. Again, dreams. Dreams, not goals. Dreams, not goals. We should put that on a shirt. So the 6th unrealistic writer goal, I kind of made an entire video about this, is getting a specific A-list agent. I made a video about dream agents where I basically said don't have dream agents, but you can. Same thing here. Dreaming of having a specific A-list agent, totally okay. Setting the goal of having that agent, it just so often doesn't work out that way. So much of finding an agent, it's so subjective. It's just fit. There's also timing. I mentioned it in the Dream Agent video. That agent that you really want for yourself, who you set a goal of getting, might have just signed a really similar book, so they can't sign yours, or one of their existing A-list clients might be working on something really similar, and it's not gonna work out. It's not in the cards. So setting a goal of having a specific agent can really backfire on you, and I find more often than not when it does. That's why I made a whole video about dream agents, because even when they're dreams, it's dicey. It leads to a lot of disappointment, writers who turn it inward on themselves and blame themselves when it's just, there's an alchemy and magic to getting an agent and all sorts of factors. And you can set a goal of getting an agent. You can set a goal of getting a good agent too. Just don't set a goal of getting a specific agent. That is the danger. You can take actionable steps to get a good agent. You can't really take actionable, controlled steps to get a specific agent. Does that make sense? And last but certainly not least, just on the topic of things you definitely can't control, the 7th unrealistic writer goal is being published by a specific publisher, especially a specific imprint, especially a specific editor. It's the same thing with agents. It's just such a weird, subjective industry. Books are personal. Like, some people will connect to something and others won't, and you never know what kind of the market and timing is going to be like. And you can just end up being really devastated and disappointed when that goal doesn't come to fruition. It can just lead to a lot of problems, especially, oh gosh, the dreaded author who looks the gift horse in the mouth. It's like, well, my goal was to be published by HarperCollins, so Macmillan just isn't good enough. And then the rest of us stare at that person and go. So again, dreams are okay. We all have dreams of specific places we would love to be published, and even dreams are a little bit dangerous, but goals, no way. You cannot set a specific goal of being published somewhere because there's very little that you can do, achievable steps to make it happen. So those are the main unrealistic writer goals I wanted to go over, but I do want to say, if you have any of these that had been goals and now you're gonna convert them to dreams, good job. I will say about these goals, some of these, it's possible to find sideways to achieve them if they are your goals. And I know that's not what people want to hear. It's kind of true. So this is the dirty little secret portion. I already kind of gave you one. That whole, if you really have a goal to write multiple books a year and publish in different categories, that's a matter of hyper-targeting specific agents who are very, very good at managing those sorts of careers. Plus, you have to have the goods. It's working on yourself. There are actionable steps you can take to become a faster writer, to draft cleaner, to step up your commercial ideas in multiple categories and genres, being well-read, etc. Those are actually actionable steps that you can take to work on yourself to make that goal a little bit more achievable. Patience is also actually an actionable step you can take to make that goal more achievable. Getting a ton of money for your book and becoming a bestseller. Honestly, there are formulas to big commercial fiction and bestsellers, and you could theoretically follow them. I would argue it's gonna come across as a little bit soulless, a little bit cynical, but also I know there are authors who have definitely done this, who have millions of dollars, and I do not have millions of dollars. So what do I know? I'd say most of us personally can't kind of walk that delicate balance of really angling to write the bestseller that's gonna get them a ton of money without that kind of cynicism showing, but some people can. So I'm not gonna lie and say that it's not possible. There are writers who have done this. It's not my personal style, and I will say most writers can't achieve that, but it's a dirty little secret, and I'm not gonna lie. I kind of hinted at that with winning awards. You can write certain kinds of books, and they're just awards bait. It's just like making a movie with the intention of getting an Oscar for it. It's also possible in the book world, but again, it's still kind of dangerous to make it a goal because so much is out of your control, but you do you. Like, yeah. And then I also kind of hinted at it here with the dream agent thing, with the specific A-list agent. Harder with the publisher, by the way, but you can increase your odds. If you are hyper sharp about the book that you're writing, and you really know the taste of the people that you are targeting, and you really know the market, sometimes you can make it happen. There's still going to be an element of luck and things that are out of your control, but I'm not going to completely lie that it isn't possible for some people to game the system, set these things as goals, and achieve them. I still think for 99% of you, these need to be dreams, not goals. But yeah, that's like my salty little hot take secret. I do know some people who have set these as goals and have achieved them, but it's a little bit dangerous for the average writer. So that is my take on unrealistic writer goals, realigning your expectations to turn some of them into dreams and some of the industry's dirty little secrets. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you think? What have I left out? I'm sure there are unrealistic goals, things that should be dreams instead that I've forgotten. So what are some of the ones that you can think of, or even some of your own goals that you had to realign into a dream? Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I will make more kind of real talk publishing type content. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. I post new videos 2 to 3 times a week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and happy writing and publishing.